Hello everyone! I just wanted to share a little snippet of the lace edging for the Girly Things crochet bowl pattern that you can find on my Etsy shop and Myhre Designs. The written pattern for this lace edge is included in the pattern, but I just thought it would be a nice addition just to show how to do it. I love this bowl as it is perfect to hold things like a small knitting or crochet or quilting project, beads, sewing supplies, buttons, or if you live in a small space like me, you can use it to hold game pieces, a catch-all basket, jewelry, bathroom stuff, condiments, cords, and even change. You could literally make yourself a pot of gold. So here's the basic lace edging idea. And then from there, you can add more crochet, embroidery, or beaded details as you see on these bowls here. So when you finish the very easy crochet bowl, make sure you have the proper stitch count from the pattern. Slip stitch into the next stitch, and then chain one with your lace edging yarn. Work one single crochet in the same space as your slip stitch. Then from here, work two single crochets in each stitch until you get back around to the slip stitch. In that slip stitch, insert your hook into the slip stitch, pull the yarn through, then you'll still have two loops on the hook. Insert the hook into the first single crochet, pull the yarn through. With those three loops on the hook, yarn over and pull through all three. You should have 135 stitches. For the second row, chain 7, turn the work so the inside of the bowl is facing you. Skip 2 stitches and work a double crochet into the third stitch. From there on, you'll work chain 4, skip 2, double crochet in the third, all the way around. When you get back to the beginning, chain 4 and slip stitch into the third chain of the original chain 7. You should have 45 loops here. This is super important, so if you have to finagle this part, go ahead and do so. And by that I mean you can take the last couple loops out, skip 1, skip 3 on the last part of the row just to get yourself to the 45 loops. Now I personally cheat like this all the time. Especially because in this instance, my lace yarn is kind of fuzzy. So it's hard to see the actual stitches sometimes and they're really small. But if you're going to lose sleep over it, just go back, find your error, rip back to there to get yourself to 45 loops. So don't go forward until you have exactly 45 loops. For the third row, chain 1, single crochet in the next chain space. In that same space, you're going to work 3 double crochets, chain 4, 3 double crochets, all in that same space. Single crochet in the next chain space, chain 4, single crochet in the next chain space. Then the pattern repeat starts with 3 double crochet, chain 4, 3 double crochet, all in the next chain space, single crochet in the next chain space, chain 4, single crochet in the next chain space. Here I've decided to just tie my knots and tighten everything up and weave in the ends to make the joining part look as smooth as possible. So once you tie your knots, just go ahead and weave them all in, pull the yarns, smooth that all out, and then remember, you just never want to cut the tails at the knots. You do have to weave these into the bowl because over time knots do come undone. So you just never, even when you're knitting or crocheting, never cut your tails at the knots. Always weave them in. When you get all the way to the beginning, slip stitch in the first single crochet of this round. You should have 15 little pointy fan shapes going around the bowl. Okay, row 4, slip stitch up this side of a fan to reach the chain 4 space at the top of the fans. Slip stitch in that space. Chain 6, this counts as a double crochet and a chain 4. Work a double crochet in the next space, which is the lower space between the fans, chain 4, then double crochet in that same space, which will form a V shape. The pattern repeat starts here with a chain 4, double crochet in the space at the top of the fans, chain 4, double crochet in the space between the fans, chain 4, double crochet in that same space. Repeat this pattern until you get all the way around. Chain 4, then slip stitch in the second chain of the original chain 6. and you can cut your yarn and end the whole thing here. Or you can continue with row 5. If you've decided to continue along, you can use the same yarn, you can use a new yarn, but whatever you're using, go ahead and slip stitch into a lower chain 4 space between the fans. In this space, you'll chain 2, which will count as your first double crochet, 2 more double crochets, chain 3, and then work 3 double crochets, all in that same space. Then chain 2 and single crochet in the space at the top of the fan. Chain 2, single crochet in that same space. Chain 2, and then the repeat starts here with 3 double crochets in the chain space between the fans, chain 3, 3 double crochets in that same space, so we're making a little fan here. Then chain 2, single crochet in the double crochet at the point of the fan, chain 2, single crochet in the same space, chain 2. So that's the pattern repeat. You'll repeat that all the way to the end of the round, and then after you're working your last chain 2, go ahead and slip stitch in the chain 2 from the very beginning. This is where I've ended the basic lace crochet, or you can just keep going and design something extra. Use your imagination and have fun with it. And, you can add flowers, beads, lace trim, embroidery, whatever comes to your mind, you can do on this bowl. But please post pictures on the Mandala Unplugged Facebook group, or you can send them to me at nittycat@comcast.net. I'd love to hear from you and see your work. Thank you so much for watching and supporting me in my cause to share techniques in textiles. Stay tuned for the next series of a completely unexperienced quilter, my boyfriend Jerry, while he makes a quilt, working his way through my book, Quilt as Inspired. We hope that you will come up with lots of ideas and learn a lot of techniques to make your own quilt along the way. And pick up the book from my Etsy shop or Amazon if you don't have it already. It's also on the Kindle store. It's packed with ideas and techniques and will help you quilt as you are inspired to make a quilt and quilt it along the way. So by the time you're done with the quilt, it's going to be completely quilted. And I will show you how to quilt those sections and put them together seamlessly, flawlessly, and without that extra bulk. So until then, happy stitching. Take good care.